You've worked for so long. Did you get rich? Did you get rich? When you look for a husband or wife, you must find someone wealthy. Don't go after someone poor. They're useless. Look at this, even on rainy days, they still have to work. Some friends say, "Oh, your wife is so hardworking. She can do everything." But what's the use of being hardworking? What matters is knowing how to make money. Doing this kind of work, what's the point? It won't make you rich. What makes me even angrier are these Chinese men, especially those from rural areas, who can't find a wife and rush to Southeast Asian countries to look for women even poorer than they are. They don't even pay dowry, thinking they're doing something right. I won't delve too much into this topic so the video doesn't get taken down. When they're dating, it's always, "Honey, I love you. Darling, I love you." But after they get married, if there's no money, the fights start. And then, "Honey, I love you. Still? What kind of love is that?" Let me tell you, many friends say, "Oh, don't talk about money in relationships. It ruins the feelings." I'm telling you, without money, you can't survive. If you're really poor and say the two of you will work hard together, work hard for years, maybe decades, and you're still dirt poor, exhausted, who's going to struggle with you? Nowadays, don't talk about love. Love is worthless. Talk about money. Only with money can you live. Without money, you can't. Let's be realistic. If one person is poor and they find someone else who's also poor, then the two poor people have a child, and they can't even afford to raise the kid. What happens? They fight every day. What's the point of that? Are you planning to waste your whole life like that? And me? Don't I deserve rest? Aren't I tired? He even lied to me, saying he had a lot of wealth. For what? Where is it? Oh, here it is, the wealth. It's all been used, turned into fertilizer. Buy a few bags of fertilizer, and 500 yuan is gone. Tomorrow you pick areca nuts, and you can't even make 500 yuan. You still have to deal with pests. And you think all of this is amazing. But what's the use of it? The whole year, endless work. I'm out here working, exhausted, and I still can't make money. The money goes so fast. And all the complaints. Hurry and get the phone already. Is this even work meant for people? If you don't do it, I'll do it. I'll work. But tell me, you've worked for so long. Did you get rich? Did you get rich? At least I didn't ask anything from you. I can support myself. But what's the use of just supporting yourself? If I don't do this, I can still support myself. It's not like I have to do this to live. Some people don't grow areca nuts, and they aren't starving. Honey, keep going, alright? This woman works so slowly. I've already finished spreading 2 bags. And she hasn't even finished half a bag. I can't even watch this anymore. Hurry up, speed it up. It's getting foggy. With this weird weather, it's scary. We can't keep going like this. I'm heading back. This isn't work for people.
Most Vietnamese girls are not willing to marry Chinese men, and some even fear Chinese men. Many people, upon seeing other men marrying Vietnamese women, think it's as easy as drinking egg soup. But in reality, the truth behind this is much more painful, and if I say it, it could even hurt the pride of our compatriots. Many people have never visited Vietnam, and some who have visited the country did so only to see the major tourist cities, without understanding what ordinary Vietnamese girls really think about men from our country. The true reality only came to light after I managed to marry a Vietnamese wife, and through our conversations and living together, over time, I began to understand the local aspects and the feelings of these girls. Since they were little, these girls have been influenced by rumors, and in some cases, there is some truth to them. When they don't obey, their parents or teachers often scare them by saying that, when they grow up, they will be sold to Chinese men in poor and remote regions of China, and used as wives. Even though parents and teachers say this only to scare them, these words are deeply engraved in the girls' hearts, making them believe that marrying a Chinese man wouldn't be a good option. They start to fear Chinese men. They think that the Chinese men who come to Vietnam looking for wives are usually poor and live in mountainous regions. They believe that rich Chinese men wouldn't come to Vietnam to look for a wife. This perception of parents and teachers is not completely unfounded. I had a deep conversation with my wife about this. In recent decades, indeed, many Vietnamese women have been trafficked for a low price and taken to our country, Cambodia, and even other countries. This happened especially decades ago, when a large number of Vietnamese women were brought to China, mostly from poorer regions. Some of them found that they weren't happy after arriving here, so they ran back to Vietnam. Others, however, couldn't escape or had children there and couldn't return. Overall, the reports that came back to Vietnam were of women who were unhappy in our country, and their lives weren't easy. Originally, they came from Vietnam, where they lived in poverty, hoping to improve their lives by marrying a Chinese man. But when they arrived, they discovered they were trading one mountain for another. Therefore, the image of a Chinese man in the minds of people in Vietnam, especially among ordinary people, is not very positive. If a Chinese man arrives in Vietnam without anyone to guide him, tries to approach or do something on his own, people immediately react by evaluating his appearance and economic situation. They fear that, in looking for a wife in Vietnam, he is someone who hasn't been successful in China. That's why many girls are afraid and don't trust this man. However, many compatriots don't know this reality. Our country has so many single men who continue to come to Vietnam looking for wives. This has generated a large number of intermediaries. However, people are not mass-produced items that can be produced every day. There aren't so many good girls willing to marry Chinese men with true intention. Therefore, most of them don't have the true intention of marrying a Chinese man. In this process, some women take advantage of the situation to deceive men. Also, as the saying goes, 30 years on the east side of the river, 30 years on the west side of the river. For several decades, many Vietnamese women were deceived by our compatriots and taken to China, but today the situation has turned around. These women have become aware and instead joined intermediaries to deceive Chinese men as a form of revenge. In summary, there are many girls in Vietnam who deceive Chinese men into marriage. I only began to realize this reality after living here for a while. When I looked for a wife last year, someone helped me find mine, and I was lucky because I found a good wife and wasn't deceived. Now we have a son. But I was naive to think that Vietnamese people would be friendly and good, until I realized all of this. That's why I'm sharing it with you today. This industry is very deep, and anyone who wants to come to Vietnam looking for a wife needs to have a good ability to deal with risks. If you are the type of man described as poor and living in remote regions in China, then please don't come to Vietnam looking for a wife. Even if you find a good Vietnamese wife and take her to China, in the end, she will end up running away, and you will still harm the image of Chinese men. This will benefit no one. In the end, you will lose everything, and the happiness of that Vietnamese woman will also be ruined. When she returns to Vietnam, she will spread the word, speaking badly of Chinese men. I do not regret going after my wife in Vietnam. However, at the same time I made this decision, some friends made the same choice, but they regretted it. Some didn't even have the means to support themselves, while another was replaced as soon as his wife settled in China. She went to a party and met a wealthier man. I won't criticize her, because let's be honest, everyone who goes to Southeast Asia in search of wives does so hoping that they will be less materialistic than Chinese women and accept less. And in their case, it's even easier, since their conditions are much worse than ours. But if you don't find the right girl, you'll waste your time and end up with a much bigger headache than just finding a Chinese woman or staying single. In the end, it was the best option. It wouldn't have been possible to add this opinion into the text, because each person's experience is unique, and the reflection on what is right or wrong only comes with time. Many friends ask me, why did that guy decide to go to Southeast Asia to find a wife? I'll explain to you. Many men in China, without technical skills, without a strong family background, without formal education, and without consulting resources, especially older single men around their 40s, are practically ignored by younger women in the country. In comparison, in Southeast Asian countries, the living conditions and material standards are a little more backward, poorer. So coming to China, compared to that, seems like a better opportunity for them. That's how it works. The costs are also not so high. From what I've heard from friends, there are intermediaries who help make these connections, and they charge a commission. It seems like something around that, but they might not always receive that full amount. Also, the families of the women there don't ask for much. So, with the lowest possible cost, they manage to get married, find a wife. On the other hand, there's a fee for the official documents, and it seems like that can be quite expensive, without a fixed standard. But, after all, there aren't that many options in China, right? It depends on each person's choice. From what I know, many still choose to find wives abroad. As for Master Li, he definitely doesn't have those plans. In fact, he once considered going to Ukraine, but that never happened. Well, no more bragging. Tomorrow I'm going to prepare a dish for them. Tonight, after dinner, maybe I'll go to Chengdu later. If other older single men still have doubts, they can leave comments. There are always experts commenting there. Just be careful not to fall for scams. Today, let's talk about a topic that many people are curious about. Why is it rare for foreign men to marry foreign women? To be honest, I admit that European women are beautiful, tall, and have a good personality, but their education, life, thoughts, mindset, and eating habits are completely different. Here, girls leave home at 18 and start living independently, developing a carefree personality. But men in our home, after getting married, expect their wives to stay at home taking care of the children and the husband, without going out. How could it be possible that here, after marriage, the girls would want to do whatever they want without anyone caring? Moreover, the food culture is different. I'm from northeast China, and I grew up eating dishes like sauerkraut with pork belly, ganso stew in an iron pot, dumplings, and noodles. What do Europeans eat? Hamburgers, fries, steaks, and hot dogs. Their main food is potatoes. When I first came here, I thought potatoes were delicious and would eat 10 or more at a time. But now, every time I see potatoes, my head starts to hurt. Here, if you marry a woman and she's not happy, she'll sacrifice for her family, for the children, and for love to continue living with you. But here, don't even think about it. When a woman likes you, you are a treasure, but when she doesn't, you're just a blade of grass. She says goodbye and leaves. Each place has its own customs and ways of living from a young age, and how two individuals will adapt to these differences. That's why I always say, foreign girls are beautiful, but we just look, that's enough. Stay alert, brother.
Is it reliable to look for a wife in Southeast Asian countries? I invite friends to discuss this issue in the comments below my video. Hello friends. Welcome to my video. If you care, feel free to share and spread positive energy. Now, many single men are going to small Southeast Asian countries to look for wives. So, can they find a wife? Personally, I think these influencers going there to look for a wife are being unrealistic, because the standard of living has increased. When they go there, people also want someone with a good standard of living. It's not possible for someone from a poor background to find a wife to marry. Therefore, influencers going to Southeast Asian countries are mostly going there to make videos. They hire these women to make videos. To film the videos, they even pay them a certain amount per day. These women need to make a living, so they make these videos out of necessity. These influencers, in turn, want more views, want to make videos. So, they negotiate good terms with these women and film edited videos. They do this to attract more views. But in reality, few of them are actually looking for a wife. They don't always succeed in finding one. If you want to find a wife, you need to go there, work in a factory, gradually settle down, and then start looking. You can't just find a wife right away. What do you think about this? Is that the reasoning? So, sometimes it's better just to watch the videos, like watching a soap opera. They film it, you watch it, and that's it. You shouldn't take it as real. What do you think, friends? If you have anything to say, leave your comments below the video. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, follow the channel. We'll see you in the next video. Goodbye. Bye.
You know, I really don't see the point in leaving your country, traveling halfway around the world, and heading to Southeast Asia in search of a wife. This woman may be in a much more difficult financial situation than you, and believe me, the true love you think you're finding might have more to do with your wallet than her feelings. Of course, I'm not saying that all cases are like this, but the majority are much more self-interested than many people want to admit. I've been to Thailand and Malaysia myself, and I can tell you, I've seen many men getting involved with women from these regions without realizing that, deep down, these women are just trying to improve their lives. I have nothing against these girls. Everyone lives their life the best way they can. What bothers me is seeing guys fool themselves into thinking they're being loved genuinely. They get caught up in a fantasy where everything seems perfect, but the reality is different. It's not hard to see that financial interest and the pursuit of a better life are often above any other feelings. And the most dangerous part is that, deep down, the guy ends up thinking he's in control, believing that with money, he can buy whatever he wants, even love. Man, if you're getting involved with someone from another country, it's good to open your eyes. Don't fall for the eternal love that's tied to a price. Be careful not to get involved and think that the other person has true feelings for you when, in reality, she might just be trying to change her life. The best thing is to always look for a genuine connection, no matter where you are, but with your head in the right place. After all, no one wants to be the next lead in a soap opera, right? Nobody here needs that kind of drama, where the happy ending is just an illusion. Because, let's be honest, who wants to fall in love with someone who's only there for financial gain? And look, if you really want to find someone to share your life with, the best thing is to look for a partner who has the same vision for the future as you. Someone with whom you can grow together, and not just someone who sees you as an opportunity to escape a tough situation. Relationships based on financial imbalance rarely last. Don't expect to find a perfect woman just because she's willing to swap countries, cultures, and an entire life for someone who has money. Women, whether in Southeast Asia or anywhere else in the world, deserve more than that. Remember, no matter the geographic distance, true connection goes beyond any material interest. And in the end, who wants to be with someone who only sees money and opportunity in the relationship? That's a game, not love. Don't fool yourself into thinking this type of situation will bring you happiness and emotional stability. True relationships demand more than that. Here's a tip, guys. If it's too cheap, there's something wrong. And don't be fooled by the shine of Asian love. Open your eyes and, more importantly, your heart. Don't fall into the trap of love for interest. The most valuable thing you can find is a genuine connection, and that, my friend, has no price. What's your opinion on this dilemma? I'd love to hear your point of view. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. See you in the next video.